Sankey. It's great to be back in SEC Media Days. What a wonderful event for college football, and what a wonderful event for the best conference in the United States. Now, before I start, I'd like to say our thoughts and our prayers to the LSU family and our coaching staff, with Congressman Steve Scalise and his family, and as he gets better in Washington. We know he'll fight like a tiger. I'd like to tell you a little story about growing up in Louisiana. 1971, I was 10 years old, and LSU was playing Notre Dame. And it was a great game, two highly ranked opponents. There was a young man named Ronnie Esting who was from the Rose, Louisiana. Had 17 tackles that game. He had 3 great stops on the goal line, and LSU beat Notre Dame 28-3. And the headline was Irish Stew for LSU, and I was a young boy from the Rose. I think the whole city of the Rose, the whole state of Louisiana was cheering for the Tigers that night. It was just magic. And ever since then, I wanted to be in the purple and gold. I want to thank Joe Oliva. I want to thank Kenny Alexander and the LSU family for hiring me as the head coach of the LSU Tigers. What an honor. Obviously, we're excited about the upcoming season. I want to talk to you a little bit about each unit coming up. On our offensive staff, we are very excited to have Matt Canada as our offensive coordinator. Matt runs a very diverse offense, a lot of shifts, motions, use of personnel, fly sweeps. It makes it difficult to defend. But the thing I like best about Matt was he talked about being a team player, and he talked about running a balanced offense, 50% run, 50% pass. I think he's going to do an outstanding job as an offensive coordinator. I have to give credit to Matt to come in the spring and install his offense with a brand new offensive staff. Guys that he had never met before. They did a tremendous job. They gelled well and really had a great spring. One of our biggest hires going into the new season was hiring an assistant head coach, recruiting coordinator, running back coach, and Tommy Robinson. Tommy's one of the best recruiters in the United States. He's a great running back coach. He's even a better man. We're honored to have him on our staff. The next thing we had to do was get a guy that I trust in recruiting the city of New Orleans, which is really, really important to us at LSU with the state of Louisiana. And we found Mickey Joseph. He's a friend of mine. I've known him before. He went out to several places. He was at Louisiana Tech, but we came back and hired him as our wide receiver coach. He has done a tremendous job in recruiting and a tremendous job of coaching our wide receivers. On our staff already was Steve Insminger, a Tiger, played quarterback, was a great Tiger, one of the toughest coaches I've ever been around. Did a tremendous job of taking over the offensive coordinator job. Once I become interim head coach, and broke all kinds of LSU records. Steve's going to coach our tight end and will be very instrumental in helping Matt Canada on our offense. Also on our offense, Jeff Grimes has done a tremendous job. Jeff was very loyal to me in the interview process and does a good job of recruiting and a great job of coaching our offensive line. Now, we'll talk a little bit about our offense. First of all, when I interviewed Matt, I said, Matt, what type of quarterback do you need? He says, Coach, we can have success with a pro-style quarterback or a dual-threat quarterback. I said, it's good, we have both. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a quarterback competition in spring, and I want every quarterback to have a chance to show you his different skill sets and see if you like them. And we did that throughout the spring. You let every quarterback compete. Danny came out, was the best quarterback running his system. Lowell Narcisse did a great job. Lindsey Scott did a great job. Justin McMillan did a great job. And now we recruited Miles Brennan, who I told him I was going to give him a chance to earn the starting spot at quarterback at LSU. So there's still a quarterback competition going into fall camp. But right now, if we were to play, Danny would be our starter. And by the way, Danny loves the competition. He loves that we made it a quarterback competition. Actually, he thrives. And so, to answer the question about the quarterback competition, there's still a competition there, but right now, Danny is the leader. Everything that we do is going to be based around our best player, Darius Geis. We feel that we have the best running back and one of the best offensive players in the country coming back, led the SEC in rushing. Darius is a great player. He runs the ball like Warren Sapp played defensive line for me at Miami. He runs with an attitude. He's a great young man. He's here today. You're going to love him, has a great character, and it's turned out to be an outstanding team leader for us. Behind Darius, the guy that lost a lot of weight for us, Darryl Williams, is going to be another senior tailback. We're going to use a tailback rotation and let those guys really play. Behind him will be Nate Brissett, Leonard Fournette, and a freshman we're looking forward to, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. On our offensive line, we're very, very happy to have several guys return from our offensive line that was ranked one of the best in the SEC and the best in the country. At left tackle, KJ Malone, left guard, who earned the starting spot in the spring. He's from Baton Rouge. Garrett Brumfield at center, an all-SEC player. We're going to start him at center. Will Clapp, I'll say this, a young man that did a tremendous job at center for us. Will was hurt, did not practice all spring. Lloyd Cushenberry. Lloyd gives us the flexibility that if Will Clapp needs to play another position, he can come in and play center. Starting right guard will be Micah Tahoma. Behind him will be the #1 right guard we'll recruit in the country from Ponchatoula High School, and Donovan Campbell. We expect him to make progress and be an outstanding player for us. At right tackle, we think we're pretty solid with Toby Weathersby. He did a great job for us last year. He's going to be backed up by Decory Savage and Adrian McGee. Two young guys that we're looking forward to, and we think will be outstanding prospects, will be Austin Deckless and Sadiq Charles. At the wide receiver position, he's here today, DJ Chart. He had a tremendous year for us last year. Our leading wide receiver, you'll see him run the fly sweeps. He's a great young man from Alexander, Louisiana. He was thinking about going out early his junior year. I asked him to come back. He came back. We brought him to SEC Media Day today. It's a tremendous opportunity for him and for us. And also, we gave him the jersey #7. That's what he wanted to wear. And so we look forward to him having a great senior year at LSU. Back up will be Russell Gage, another wide receiver. Drake Davis, who was an outstanding young talent. Drake's about 6'4", 225. He's very fast. He's coming to his own. And also Derek Dillon and Stephon Sullivan. We expect those guys to have tremendous seasons at LSU. But at tight end, Foster Morrow and J.D. Moore return. I think we're two of the best tight ends in the SEC, if not in the country. Foster Morrow was one of the toughest guys on the team, one of the toughest guys I ever met. And J.D. Moore is a tremendous leader. Now, on to the defense. I'm very excited to have David Randall. You guys know we have one of the best defensive coordinators in all of football. And we're glad that Dave is back with us. He signed a 3-year contract. He's a great coordinator. He's a great position coach, outstanding recruiter, and even better man. I think he did a great job of shifting from the 4-3 to the 3-4 defense. His defense led the nation with fewest touchdowns in just 1 year. And he held the Heisman Trophy winner, Lamar Jackson, out of the end zone in our great bowl win in the Citrus Bowl versus Louisville. On our defensive line is Pete Jenkins. Pete Jenkins will be known as one of the greatest assistant coaches to ever coach the game. He spent 15 years at LSU before we rehired him. He promised me this. He says, "Coach, you will be the last LSU head coach I work for." I said, "I got it, Pete. Appreciate it." Outside linebacker coach Dennis Johnson, who also played at LSU, is an outstanding recruiter, was my graduate assistant. He coached outside linebacker. And Corey Raymond, one of the best recruiters in the country, outstanding teacher, DBU, Jamal Adams, Davis White, all those guys, Patrick Peterson, the Honey Badgers. Corey Raymond also played at LSU, and so Louisiana means a lot to us. On defense, we have to replace 5 out of the front 7. We feel that we have a very good young defensive line coming back at some spots. We're so excited to have Rashard Lawrence who earned a starting spot in the spring. Rashard is from Monroe, Louisiana. He was the #1 player in the state of Louisiana. From North Louisiana, he came to LSU, which means a lot to recruiting. Rashard's also a 4.0 grade point average student. I think he's going to have a tremendous season at LSU. Backing him up will be Frank Herron. Frank will be a rotator at left and right end. Frank's a senior, is ready to have an outstanding year at LSU as a senior year. At nose tackle, we have Greg Gilmore and Ed Alexander. Two nose tackles that played very good last year. And behind him, we have Tyler Sheldon, who's one of outstanding freshmen. He was the #1 player in the state of Louisiana, chose to come to LSU. When we signed him, he was 383, and now he's a slim 323. I look forward to him playing. At defensive end, the left defensive end is Christian Lancashire. He's here today. He's going to wear the number 18. What a great young man, fought through adversity. I expect him to have a great senior year. Backing those two ends up will be freshman Justin Thomas and Neil Farrell. I think those guys are fantastic. And outside linebacker position, we feel that we have one of the best defensive players in the country, if not the best defensive player in the country, returning in Barton Peak. Outstanding pass rusher, outstanding player. We expect him to have a great season. Barton took the spring off for personal reasons, and we're going to respect that. He came back, he had to get some work done on his shoulder. We don't know when he's going to be back. We do expect him to be back and have a great season. And he's in a tremendous shape right now. He's weighing 255 to 260 pounds, and as a total team player. Backing him up will be either Ray Thornton, Andre Anthony, or one of the best young outside rushers I ever signed in Caleb Chesson. We expect Caleb to contribute early and be a tremendous player. Now, field linebacker, we have Corey Thompson, who is returning for his senior year to battle some injuries. He's extremely fast. Him and Michael Divinity will man that field linebacker position. At the middle linebacker position, I'll tell you a story. Dave Miranda and I were on a recruiting trip. He don't say many words, and he goes, "Hey, Coach, do you know we have more kickers on scholarship than middle linebackers?" I said, "Dave, I know that, but don't tell anybody, okay?" But we need to go out and recruit 3 of the best middle linebackers in the country, and I do believe we did that. We signed the #1 linebacker in the country, Jacob Phillips. We signed a great linebacker in the country out of Georgia, Tyler Taylor, and one of the best linebackers in the state of Louisiana, Patrick Wing. We expect those guys to really play and really compete for a starting position next year. Donnie Alexander's up to 230 pounds. He's going to play our middle linebacker along with Devin White, who played last year. We expect Devin to have a tremendous year. Remember, this young man played running back and ran a 10,600 meter dash in high school. You know, coming back from Philadelphia, we're happy. We're happy to see all our players get drafted. What a tremendous night for the Tigers. Being there in the green room with Leonard, Davis, and Jamal, all the rest of the guys that got drafted. And everybody says, "Coach, you must be really excited about all the guys get drafted." I said, "Yeah, but now we're going to replace them." And so here we go. We're at DBU, and we go and get 2 mid-year transfers, mid-year graduates. And Grant Delvin and Jacoby Stevens were 2 of the top players in the country. They came out in the spring ball and had an excellent spring. We expect those 2 guys to get player time and perhaps to even start. The other safeties will be John Battle and Ed Parrish. At corner, we have to replace Tre'Davious, but we feel that we have one of the best potential corners in the country. He's the fastest guy in football right now. Dante Jackson, he has tremendous skills. And I know with a little maturity, a little more playing time, he is going to be a tremendous corner. One of the top corners in the country 2 years ago. And Kevin Town, he is now starting, had a tremendous spring. Well, we're really excited about Greedy Williams, who's from Louisiana. John Trey Kirkland, who played quarterback at Lutcher High School, now is going to play corner. And Kerry Benson, who won the 200 meter dash in the state of Texas. We feel that we have a very good defense. We're going to be young. We're going to have to go through some growing pains at the beginning of the season, but I know Dave Miranda will have them ready. Well, special teams, we're very fortunate. very fortunate to have as our special teams analyst. And let me be corrected when I say an analyst can only coach the coaches, he can't coach the players, and he cannot coach on the field. So what we did decided, so we have a great big man on our staff who coached many years at Illinois. He coached 11 years at the New Orleans Saints, and he brings a wealth of knowledge to us and coaches only special teams. That's what I wanted on our staff, only a special teams coach. So Greg coaches the coaches. We split it up between 5 coaches, and we coach the special teams, and I'm heavily involved in it. I expect us to have a tremendous year on special teams and make some improvement, especially in the run game. Okay. Any questions?
If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Joseph, Bridget, and Chase will. We'll start right up here at the very front with Parrish over here to our left. Coach.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal in Tupelo. Ed, how are you?
Hi, Parrish.
How do you think you are different now as a head coach than you were during your time at Ole Miss?
Yeah, you know, I'm very grateful for my time at Ole Miss. You know, I had a great time. This job in the SEC was given a great chance. Wasn't ready. I went there as a defensive line coach. I did the things that I did as a defensive line coach that were very successful over the years. It didn't work at Ole Miss, and although we recruited well, the day I left Ole Miss, I looked at myself and I called my mentor and I said, hey, there's some things that I got to change. I'm going to be a head coach again. There's some things I need to change. I need to find out why I wasn't successful. We dug in. I wanted to see different coaches. We dug into watching other people, went and talked to some mentors of mine. And here are the 2 things that I came up with. Number 1, I was going to treat the team exactly how I treat my sons. No different. And I was going to treat every coach on the coaching staff with respect and let him coach his position as he knew it. Ever since those 2 line changes, we've been 12-4. So that's the difference.
Okay, we'll go over here on our left side, Coach. Pat?
Yeah, Pat Billy Gainesville. So, Coach, can you talk about having to go play 5 conference games on the road, which is very unusual, and the predicament that the decision last year put you in?
You know, it is what it is. Here's what we do at LSU. We take one day at a time, one game at a time. We know we have a very tough schedule, but we don't look at it that way. We look at it as a chance to compete. We look at it as a chance when we take our team to the road, on the road, to go into a hostile environment, and we accept that challenge. And we want to compete at the highest level, and that's part about being in the SEC.
Okay, we'll stay over here on the left, about 3/4 way back. Mike.
Yeah, Mike Bianchi with the Orlando Sentinel. Follow up to that question. Florida last week scheduled you as their homecoming game. Do you think that has anything to do with the bad blood with the Hurricane Matthew game? And do you take any exception to that?
Yeah, here's what I got to tell you. People are going to do what they're going to do. And Florida's a great rival for us. We respect them. Anytime we go into the swamp, it's going to be a battle. We need to prepare. I have a lot of respect for Coach McElwain and the job that they do. But we're going to be ready to play regardless of what it is. We have an upcoming opponent that week that's very tough, and I'm going to get our team ready to play.
Coach, we'll go over to our right side on the aisle.
Chase Goodbread with NFL.com. Coach, Chuck Smith, he used to play at Tennessee and is a private pass rushing coach now. He's worked with Arden Key. He said recently that he thinks he's going to be better than Myles Garrett. I know you've seen plenty of Myles Garrett in the last few years. Would you put him in that class?
Well, I'm saying he can be, there's no question. And he's a different player than Myles. I recruited Myles. I have a lot of respect for Myles Garrett. Obviously, he was the #1 player picked in the draft. Can Arden reach that status and perhaps surpass it? Yes, he can.
We'll go right here in front, Coach, right in the front row in the center.
Scooter Hobbs, Lake Charles, American Press. Your opener against BYU kicks off at 8:30.
Yes, sir.
It's not unusual for a college game to last 3.5 hours or more.
Yes, sir.
BYU doesn't play on Sunday. Have you considered what happens if the clock strikes midnight?
I think that that will be held up to the referees, and I will let them make that decision.
But though,
It has been discussed within the realm of our assistant coaches. Yes, it has. but that's out of our hands.
Okay, Coach, we'll go over here on the left side. On the aisle.
Edward Ashoff, ESPN. 10 years ago, you were here as Ole Miss's head coach. Just how surreal of a feeling is it to now be LSU's head coach with everything you've gone through?
I thank God. I do believe he had a big hand in this. And, you know, I thank my mentors. I thank Jimmy Johnson. I thank Pete Carroll. Those guys taught me a lot. I thank our players. I think when you take over for Les Miles, who did a tremendous job, who hired me, did a tremendous job at LSU. When you walk in Sunday afternoon, you're the head football coach. You have to have some players that lead the way. And I think those guys, the seniors that were on the team last year, that supported me, and the team bought into what we were doing. And so a lot of factors had to happen for me to get the job at LSU, and I'm very, very honored to be the head coach here.
Coach, we'll go here in the center section, over here on the left aisle.
Zach Ockett, Sporting News. Coach, you saw glimpses of Darius Geis last year in a feature role. How do you think he steps into that full-time in 2017 and also as a leader for the offense?
I think he's going to flourish. I think he's absolutely going to. He flourished last year in the last 5 or 6 games. He's having a better career this year. I think Matt's don't know how to use him. Matt's going to throw some holes for him. Darius is a tremendous player. I think he'll end up being, after the season, or any injury, one of the top players in the country, if not the top player in the country.
Okay, Coach, we'll go over here to our right, Pat, midway back.
Pat 40 from Yahoo Sports. Ed, one of the reasons there was a coaching change at LSU was an inability to beat Alabama.
Yeah.
How big is the gap right now in your mind between Alabama and LSU, and how can you close it?
Obviously, they've done a great job. Coach Saban's done a great job. We did a great job at LSU. Last year was a very tight game. It was 0-0 going into the third quarter. Their quarterback made 2 plays. We didn't. So I don't know if there's that big of a gap. I think that we need to play our football. Obviously, there's a lot of people on our schedule that are very, very good football teams, and we can't just point to Alabama, but they're a benchmark. I understand that the head coach at LSU must beat Alabama. I think that the way to beat Alabama is to recruit on their level. They're recruiting at a very high level now. They do a great job of evaluation and coach very well and get your team ready to play. And again, last year we went that far.
We'll go back over here to our left, 3/4 of the way back.
James Garfield.com. Hey, could you explain the tactics you've employed regarding satellite camps in your state and outside schools coming in?
Yeah.
What do you say to the prospects in Louisiana who not only you may not be recruiting, but who may have had opportunities for exposure to schools from outside the state limited to your tactics?
Yeah, let me say this here. The recruiting process for us, we have 6 weeks in April and May that we can go identify and evaluate players that we've been studying for over 2 years. And we go to Texas, we go to Georgia, we go to Alabama, they come to our states. Opportunity for guys to get recruited. There's Exos film, there's recruiting lists. Guys are not going uncovered nowadays. If there's a guy on a country road, my GPS will get me there if he's that good enough. So as far as opportunity, there's a lot of opportunity given to these young men during those 6 weeks of evaluation. So I'll promise you this, if there's a player that LSU wants, we are going to fly there, we are going to drive there, and we're going to get to his high school to evaluate him. Now, as far as satellite camps, I'm not a big fan of satellite camps, no. Do I wish we would go back to only having our satellite camps on our campus? Yes, I do, but that's not my decision.
We'll go down here to our left front row, Ron.
Yeah, Ron James.com. Yeah, for a while I was here, we saw you 10 years as a coach and see you now. Do you think you have something to prove as a head coach? Because I remember from 10 years ago, it didn't turn out very well. Do you think you have something to prove to not only yourself, but people that, I mean, I can be a head coach. I can be successful with this.
No, I think that's out there. But to me, we did it. I took a school at USC. We went 6-2. We beat 4th-ranked Stanford. Played pretty good last year. We beat Louisville. I feel that I'm ready to be the head coach at LSU. My players feel that. there's a need for me to prove the perimeter. I don't feel the pressure from that. I know this. I understand the expectation of LSU. I was born in Louisiana, and they're very high. But we have the same expectations of our staff and ourselves. So I don't feel the pressure, but I do acknowledge that that's out there, and I still need to prove that now I'm the head coach and we need to win, and I get it.
Coach will go to our right, alongside the aisle.
Yes, Coach Dwayne right here, Montgomery Advertising. Two-part question. One, looking at the offense last year against Alabama, it was a tough go. Was that more of Alabama's defense, or do you guys scheme on offense? And second, how do you feel like a new coordinator and Danny coming back for a second year will help the offense?
Yeah, very good question. Listen, when it comes down to playing Alabama, it starts with protection. They're great up front. They talk great. They have great athletes up front, and you have to protect the quarterback. Yeah, we didn't do a good job of that. Protect the quarterback. They didn't have any time, and when he did have it, he didn't complete the pass that we should. The year before, we tried to run the football on him. We couldn't do it. So it has to be a combination. You have to spread the ball around. You have to put the ball in your playmaker's hands in space and let them make plays. But it all starts with protection first.
Coach will go over here to the left. Middle. Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, Matt Lowe with Lindy Sports. You lost your top 3 tacklers on your defense last year, and Riley there at linebacker, Beckham at linebacker. Those are 2 critical pieces. Who are some guys that you're looking at maybe to step up to play there, but also supply a leadership role as well?
Yeah, well, I'm really looking at Rashard Lawrence. I think that he is going to be an excellent defensive end for us. And Christian Lockhart didn't play for us last year. So he's going to be playing defensive end. He's a leader. He's a team captain. So we believe that we're going to have it in those 2 young men. And then at linebacker, Devin White has to step up into a leadership role. He's an outstanding player. He's mature. In fact, he told me about a month ago, he says, Coach, will you help me be a leader on this football team and let me know what I need to do? So we're expecting those guys to do it. Donnie Alexander's going to be a senior. I think that he is going to take the leadership role and do a great job for us.
Okay, we'll take one final question in the front.
Yes, Coach Gary Smith from Florida Town Union. In Jacksonville, you talked about your kids, the joy you had in Philadelphia, seeing where those kids were going to go. And in terms of Leonard Fournette, thanks to things like the combine, everybody knows his measurables, everybody knows his height, his weight, everybody knows his stats in college. But what are they getting in Jacksonville that isn't measured by a number?
Yes, listen, you get a good man. You get a father. You get a guy that loves life. Leonard was never on a list by any disciplinary reasons. Leonard was a great teammate. Leonard wanted to fight for his players. That last game of going into the bowl, Leonard could not play. Leonard came to me in tears and said, Coach, I can't go. I can't play. I said, Leonard, I understand. We will not put you in jeopardy, son. Don't worry about it. I will tell the meeting. So things that you heard that he may have skipped the game or whatever, that had nothing to do with anything. In fact, against Florida, he didn't practice all week. He wasn't supposed to play. He tried to play. He wanted to play. So he's a teammate. He has a great heart. He's a great father. You get a great guy, a great man.
All right, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Go Tigers.